Next, we have let's welcome Mr. Vince Larkins, who is the president of and CEO of Fair Housing Center Greater Palm Beaches and a longtime member of the board of directors of National Fair Housing Alliance, having advocated for housing for several decades. Mr. Larkins will offer his opinion on SB 264.
Thank you so much, Ms. King, and thank you everyone for being here today. It's a privilege and an honor to come before you. My name is Vince Larkins. I'm president and CEO of the Fair Housing Center of the Greater Palm Beaches. I have with me today Kenya Robinson. She is the president and CEO of Hope Inc. Housing Opportunities Project for Excellence in South Florida. And she also happens to be a longtime chair of the board of directors of the National Fair Housing Alliance. Also, I have Justin Montero, who is the vice president of enforcement at the National Fair Housing Alliance. Our missions are clear and concise, and they are to fight housing discrimination. Put it bluntly, our missions are to uproot and lay to rest one of the last vestiges of segregation in our country today, and that's housing discrimination. We are nonprofit watchdog agencies that work in partnership with local agencies like the Florida Commission and our local agencies that we have here. We work in partnership with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and at times we have worked in partnership with the Department of Justice. We are here today because, from our perspective, SB 264 violates the Fair Housing Act. And not just from our perspective. The Department of Justice issued a statement of interest where they said that SB 264 violates Section 3604 and Section 3605 of the Fair Housing Act. To put it simply, it says the language of SB 264 facially discriminates on the basis of national origin. And national origin refers to the country where a person is born, or more broadly, the country from which his or her ancestors came from. The Fair Housing Act covers, as many of you heard already, and in the interest of time, I'm not going to be duplicative. You've heard some of these, you've heard excellent presentations from legal counsel. So I don't want to duplicate what they've said, but I will just touch briefly from our fair housing perspective as an agency that has been doing this for 23 years, Hope Inc. since 1988, and the National Fair Housing Alliance since 1988. The Fair Housing Act covers all residential property real estate transactions. The Fair Housing Act says for those transactions, you can't change the terms and conditions of housing because of the buyer's race, color, national origin, religion, familial status, disability, or gender. It says that just because the government of a country where you were born has issues with the state of Florida, somehow that means that you and your family are no longer welcome in Florida. Even if you are fleeing that government, you are treated differently from all other people in the world who can buy in Florida with no problem. This is national origin discrimination because it treats people differently based on their national origin. This is just as illegal as race discrimination, as sex discrimination. Now, we've heard from people who have been discriminated against.
I'm sorry.